Latin America, geography, history, culture, politics, and economy. Latin America is a vast and vibrant region that stretches from the northern borders of Mexico in North America to the southern tip of Chile and Argentina in South America. It also includes the islands of the Caribbean, such as Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic. This region is known for its rich history, diverse cultures, and breathtaking landscapes that range from the Amazon rainforest to the Andes Mountains and the Patagonian plains. The countries of Latin America are incredibly diverse, both geographically and culturally. Mexico, the largest Spanish-speaking country in the world, has a population of over 120 million people and is known for its ancient civilizations, such as the Aztecs and Mayans, as well as its modern cities and vibrant culture. In Central America, countries like Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama are smaller in size but rich in traditions, natural beauty, and biodiversity. The Caribbean islands add another layer of cultural richness, with nations like Cuba, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic reflecting a blend of indigenous, African, and European influences. South America is home to some of the continent's largest and most populous countries. Brazil, the largest country in Latin America, has a population of over 220 million people and is famous for its Amazon rainforest, lively festivals like Carnival, and diverse cities such as Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo. Argentina, with around 45 million people, is known for its pampas grasslands, tango music, and passion for football. Other countries like Colombia, Peru, Chile, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Uruguay each contribute their unique landscapes, histories, and cultures to the region. Peru is famous for the ancient Inca city of Machu Picchu, while Chile is known for its long coastline and the Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth. Latin America is home to more than 650 million people, making it a region with great cultural and ethnic diversity. The population includes descendants of indigenous peoples, Europeans, Africans, and Asians, all of whom have shaped the languages, traditions, and societies found across the region. Spanish and Portuguese are the most widely spoken languages, with Portuguese spoken primarily in Brazil. Indigenous languages, such as Quechua and Nahuatl, are also still spoken in many areas, reflecting the enduring influence of native cultures. Population density varies widely across Latin America. Countries like Brazil and Mexico have large urban centers, while nations like Bolivia and Paraguay have vast rural areas with smaller populations. Migration, both within the region and internationally, has influenced the demographic patterns, leading to dynamic cities and culturally rich communities. In conclusion, Latin America is a remarkable part of the world, defined by its geographic diversity, rich cultural heritage, and growing population. From the bustling cities of Mexico City and São Paulo to the serene landscapes of Patagonia and the Amazon rainforest, Latin America offers a glimpse into a world where history, nature, and modern life coexist. The people of this region are resilient, diverse, and deeply connected to their cultural roots, making Latin America a truly fascinating part of our planet. Latin America, the cultural region of the Americas where Romance languages are predominantly spoken, primarily Spanish and Portuguese. Latin America is defined according to cultural identity, not geography, and as such it includes countries in both North and South America. Most countries south of the United States tend to be included, Mexico and the countries of Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. Commonly, it refers to Hispanic America plus Brazil. Related terms are the narrower Hispanic America, which exclusively refers to Spanish-speaking nations, and the broader Ibero-America, which includes all Iberic countries in the Americas. The term Latin America was first introduced in 1856 at a Paris conference titled, literally, Initiative of the Americas, Idea for a Federal Congress of the Republics, Iniciativa de la América. Idea de un Congreso Federal de las Repúblicas. Chilean politician Francisco Bilbao coined the term to unify countries with shared cultural and linguistic heritage. It gained further prominence during the 1860s under the rule of Napoleon III, whose government sought to justify France's intervention in the Second Mexican Empire. Latin America is generally understood to consist of the entire continent of South America in addition to Mexico, Central America, and the islands of the Caribbean whose inhabitants speak a Romance language. The peoples of this large area shared the experience of conquest and colonization by the Spaniards and Portuguese from the late 15th through the 18th century as well as movements of independence from Spain and Portugal in the early 19th century. Even since independence, many of the various nations have experienced similar trends, and they have some awareness of a common heritage. However, there are also enormous differences between them. Not only do the people live in a large number of independent units, but the geography and climate of their countries vary immensely. The inhabitants' social and cultural characteristics differ according to the constitution of the occupants before the Iberian conquest, the timing and nature of European occupation, and their varying material endowments and economic roles. Latin America includes South America, Mexico, Central America, and Caribbean islands where people speak a Romance language. From the late 15th through the 18th century, the people in this large area experienced conquest and colonization by the Spanish and Portuguese, and in the early 19th century, they fought for independence from Spain and Portugal. Latin America has a strong Spanish and Portuguese influence, thus, some have proposed the name Ibero-America instead. Latin America comprises countries in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean where Romance languages are spoken. The countries and their capitals are Argentina, Buenos Aires, Bolivia, Sucre, Constitutional, and La Paz, seat of government, Brazil, Brasilia, Chile, Santiago, Colombia, Bogotá, Costa Rica, San Jose, Cuba, Havana, Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo, Ecuador, Quito, El Salvador, San Salvador, Guatemala, Guatemala City, Honduras, Tegucigalpa, Mexico, Mexico City, Nicaragua, Managua, Panama, Panama City, Paraguay, Asunción, Peru, Lima, Uruguay, Montevideo, Venezuela, Caracas. And in the Caribbean, Haiti, Port-au-Prince and Puerto Rico, San Juan, a U.S. territory. These nations collectively reflect the diverse cultures, languages, and histories of the Latin American region. Latin America, a region encompassing the bulk of the Americas south of the United States, is a vibrant and diverse area distinguished by its complex history, varied geography, and rich cultural tapestry. Stretching from Mexico in the north to Argentina and Chile in the south, Latin America is home to over 650 million people and includes countries with distinct languages, traditions, and social systems. Despite a shared history of colonization, the region exhibits remarkable diversity in climate, resources, governance, and economic development. This essay explores Latin America from multiple perspectives: geography, history, culture, politics, and economy to provide a comprehensive understanding of the region. Latin America's geography is marked by striking contrasts, ranging from the arid deserts of northern Mexico to the tropical rainforests of the Amazon basin and the frozen peaks of the Andes Mountains. The region is generally divided into subregions: Mexico and Central America, the Caribbean, and South America. Mexico and Central America, characterized by rugged mountains, fertile valleys, and coastal plains, this area is prone to earthquakes and volcanic activity due to its location on the Pacific Ring of Fire. The region's geography has historically influenced settlement patterns, agriculture, and trade. The Caribbean, comprising numerous islands, including Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic, the Caribbean is known for its tropical climate, coral reefs, and hurricane vulnerability. Geography has shaped the tourism-based economies of many islands and facilitated a multicultural population due to centuries of colonization and migration. South America, the continent's geography is dominated by the Andes Mountains along the western edge and the Amazon River basin in the north. The Andes create diverse climatic zones, from arid highlands to fertile valleys. The Amazon rainforest, the largest tropical forest in the world, plays a critical role in global biodiversity and climate regulation. Eastern South America features expansive plains, such as the Pampas in Argentina and Uruguay, which are vital for agriculture and livestock. The region's natural resources are extensive, including oil in Venezuela and Mexico, copper in Chile, lithium in Bolivia and Argentina, and vast arable lands throughout the continent. These resources have historically attracted both internal and foreign investment, shaping economic and political development. Latin America's history is defined by pre-Columbian civilizations, European colonization, independence movements, and modern socio-political struggles. Pre-Columbian era, before European arrival, Latin America was home to advanced civilizations such as the Maya, Aztec, and Inca. These societies developed sophisticated agricultural techniques, architectural marvels, and complex social and political structures. Colonization, beginning with Christopher Columbus in 1492, European powers, particularly Spain and Portugal, colonized much of the region. Colonization brought Christianity, the Spanish and Portuguese languages, and European cultural practices, but also led to the exploitation and decimation of indigenous populations through warfare and disease. The transatlantic slave trade also introduced millions of Africans to the Americas, contributing to the region's cultural and demographic diversity. Independence movements, between the early 19th century and the 1820s, most Latin American countries achieved independence from European powers. Leaders such as Simón Bolívar and José de San Martín spearheaded liberation efforts. Despite independence, many nations faced political instability, regional conflicts, and challenges in nation building. 20th century and beyond, Latin America experienced a mix of authoritarian regimes, military coups, and democratic transitions. Economic modernization and social reforms were uneven, and the Cold War influenced the region through US and Soviet involvement. Today, Latin American countries continue to navigate challenges related to governance, inequality, and development. Latin American culture is a unique blend of indigenous, European, and African influences, manifesting in language, religion, art, music, literature, and cuisine. Language and religion, Spanish and Portuguese dominate the region, while indigenous languages such as Quechua, Nahuatl, and Guarani persist. Roman Catholicism, introduced by European colonizers, remains the predominant religion, though Protestantism and syncretic indigenous practices are increasingly present. Arts and literature, Latin America has produced globally influential literature, including magical realism, represented by authors such as Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Isabel Allende. Visual arts, from Diego Rivera's murals to contemporary art movements, reflect social, political, and historical themes. Music and dance, Latin American music is world-renowned for its diversity, from samba in Brazil and tango in Argentina to mariachi in Mexico and salsa in the Caribbean. Music often blends African rhythms, European harmonies, and indigenous melodies. Cuisine, the region's cuisine varies widely, reflecting geography and history. Staples include corn, beans, rice, and potatoes. Regional specialties include Mexican mole, Brazilian feijoada, Argentine asado, and Peruvian ceviche. Festivals and traditions, Latin America celebrates vibrant festivals such as Carnival in Brazil, Dia de los Muertos in Mexico, and Inti Raymi in Peru. These events highlight the interplay between indigenous traditions, Catholic rituals, and contemporary culture. Latin American politics is characterized by diversity, volatility, and ongoing struggles for social justice and democratic consolidation. Governance, political systems vary from presidential republics to federal structures. While democracy is widely practiced, many nations have experienced authoritarian regimes, military dictatorships, and political crises. Social movements, throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, Latin America has seen significant social movements advocating for land reform, indigenous rights, labor rights, and gender equality. These movements have shaped public policy and political discourse. Regional organizations, institutions such as the Organization of American States, OAS, Mercosur, and the Pacific Alliance aim to promote political cooperation, trade, and regional integration, although their effectiveness varies. Challenges: corruption, inequality, crime, and political polarization remain significant challenges. Populist movements have periodically surged in response to social and economic disparities, reflecting citizens' demands for inclusion and reform. Latin America's economy is diverse, with varying levels of development, industrialization, and reliance on natural resources. Primary industries, agriculture, mining, and energy production remain central to many economies. Brazil is a leading exporter of soybeans and coffee, Chile dominates global copper production, and Venezuela holds significant oil reserves. Manufacturing and services, industrialization has advanced unevenly. Countries like Brazil and Mexico have established manufacturing hubs, while tourism and services are vital in the Caribbean and Central America. Trade and investment: Latin America engages in trade with the United States, China, and the European Union. Free trade agreements and regional partnerships aim to boost economic growth and integration. Economic challenges: despite abundant resources, the region faces income inequality, unemployment, informal labor markets, and debt. Economic volatility, often linked to global commodity prices, affects development prospects. Future prospects: emerging industries such as technology, renewable energy, and sustainable tourism offer opportunities for diversification. Investment in education, infrastructure, and social programs is crucial to overcoming structural challenges. Latin America is the countries and territories in the Americas where the populations speak Spanish or Portuguese and the dominant religion is Roman Catholic, with it being synonymous with Ibero-America, Iberian America. Puerto Rico, the Spanish-speaking Caribbean territory of the United States, acquired from the Spanish Empire following its defeat in the 1898 Spanish-American War, is usually included. This definition excludes the predominantly Protestant English-speaking and Dutch-speaking regions, as well as French-speaking predominantly Catholic regions. Belize, Guyana, and Suriname, as well as several French overseas departments, are excluded from the definition. In another definition, Latin America designates the set of countries in the Americas where any Romance language, a language derived from Latin, predominates: Spanish, Portuguese, or French. Thus, it includes Mexico, most of Central and South America, and in the Caribbean, Cuba, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Haiti. French Guiana and the French West Indies are sometimes included. By this definition, Latin America then comprises all of the countries in the Americas that were once part of the Spanish, Portuguese, and French empires. The term is sometimes used more broadly to refer to all of the Americas south of the United States, thus including the Guianas, French Guiana, Guyana, and Suriname, the Anglophone Caribbean, and Belize, the Francophone Caribbean, and the Dutch Caribbean. This definition emphasizes a similar socio-economic history of the region, which was characterized by formal or informal colonialism, rather than cultural aspects. See, for example, dependency theory. Some sources use the alternative phrase Latin America and the Caribbean, as in the United Nations Geoscheme for the Americas. Quebec and Acadia, Francophone parts of North America, are generally excluded from the definition of Latin America. Latin America can be subdivided into several subregions based on geography, politics, democracy, demographics, and culture. The basic geographical subregions are North America, Central America, the Caribbean, and South America. The latter contains further politico-geographical subdivisions such as the Southern Cone, the Guianas, and the Andean states. It may be subdivided on linguistic grounds into Spanish America and Portuguese America, and by some definitions, French America. Latin America is a region of profound contrasts and immense potential. Its geography, history, culture, politics, and economy intertwine to create a complex and dynamic identity. Despite historical inequalities and political and economic challenges, the region demonstrates resilience, creativity, and innovation. Understanding Latin America requires recognizing both its diversity and its shared experiences, from pre-Columbian civilizations to modern struggles for democracy and social justice. As the region continues to evolve, it remains a critical player on the global stage, rich in culture, natural resources, and human potential. Thank you for watching this video.